We're rolling everywhere. All right.
We're gonna start a video. I'm gonna be like 7.
Oh, my
You
hair.
do the intro this time. I did it last time, I think. If you were editing, you'd know though, so you could tell me.
Trying to remember. You can move it if you're like, oh, I'm gonna lean forward.
Michael,
Just don't like.
what do you think? Like, I need to measure this though for myself. Like, stop procrastinating.
Okay,
Intro. You got an intro. I'm
All right.
ready. You just don't laugh.
Okay. Hi. Welcome back to another. Hi. Welcome back to Not Another Movie Podcast. I'm Kaden,
And I'm Alex.
and today
We're talking about
Seven,
the movie.
directed by David Fincher, released in 1995, I think.
Doesn't say on here.
Doesn't say on there.
1995 we'll go with.
We're rolling with 1995.
That's not gonna stay there. 7.
7. So a little synopsis. Actually, I want an idea I had instead of looking at like IMDb on how to the description of the film. I want like us to describe the film
Okay.
in the best way we can. Having just watched it, we just watched 7. I've seen it before.
I've never seen it. This is my first
He had not
watch
seen
for
it
me.
before.
First watch. You want me
Should
to?
we point out the mics?
We got
we,
mics.
We have mics now.
We have mics.
I'm wearing headphones.
Hopefully, my mom will notice this.
We're moving up. Hopefully, audio is slightly better now.
Yeah. Maybe it's too good now.
Back to the topic at hand.
Back to the topic. So we're talking about 7.
Talking about 7.
And I guess I'll give my description of it.
Yeah.
Real quick. It first of all, it's a very, very great movie. It is about 2 detectives, one sort of rookie detective, and the other's been in the same city for too long, as he says, and they are trying to catch a psycho killer.
Yeah. Who does 7 crimes
Yeah.
over the course of the movie.
And so we have 7 topics to
7.
talk about
7.
from the movie 7.
The movie 7. Topic number 1. I liked your description of the film.
Thank you.
On the outset, I'll say that it is one of my favorite movies of all time.
You said number 3, right?
I put it at number 3. It's always somewhere in the top like 10 for me ever since I watched it.
Ever since you were a kid.
Ever since I watched this as a kid. So there's a lot to love for me in the movie. So I guess I'll ask you, because I'm trying to think of what I want to say. What was something that stuck out to you?
It doesn't matter about spoilers, right?
No, I think spoiler warning, flash the screen. We're gonna spoil the movie eventually.
Flash. Screen.
Spoiler.
There'll be a flash right here.
Right here.
Whenever someone does that, it never
They never put it up. Yeah.
No, that's okay. Anyways, what stood
Something
out to
you
me,
noticed.
for me, my experience of the movie was, I was telling Kaden, probably about 10 minutes into the movie, after the first crime, I could have told you what was going to happen in the entire movie. But I didn't want the thing to happen. And it kept happening. But I think that's what made it a great movie, because it made you feel things.
Yeah. Well, I feel like 7 sort of plays into sort of genre cliches for like neo-noir thriller stuff.
Those are big words.
And it kind of twists them a little bit. So you have like the grizzled detective who's doing it too long, and like the new kid on the block. But like I think their journey.
Big gulp.
I think their journey through the film, like you kind of see them rubbing off on one another. Oh boy. Just do it, man.
Continue.
Like something I liked watching it this time, you really see Morgan Freeman's character, Somerset. He's like, I don't want anything to do with this. And almost like Mills is enthusiasm for the case, if you could be enthusiastic about this sort of thing, kind of brings him in to, it impassions him. back into the fold of uh, detectiving and crime fighting and all that sort of stuff, which I really it becomes a little like not emotional, but you're like, oh, I root for these guys.
Yeah.
Or like
Yeah.
when he's like falls asleep on his shoulder,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh, these are like dudes being
Yeah.
dudes.
Mills reminds Somerset of his younger,
Yeah,
more passionate self, more driven self.
like
Yeah.
Somerset just wants nothing to do. He just wants to move out of the city. He says he wants to
He
like
says
work.
he wants
He wants
to,
to work on a
but
farm.
he can't stop
Yeah.
doing his
Well, that's
job.
like the tragic thing is he so desperately wants to get out, but just can't. It's like he's like something. A thought I had was like the city. Shut up. Um, the city is almost like a cage for them. Like something I pointed out while we were watching was like we just saw the sun for the first time,
Yeah.
and it was like halfway through the movie. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's like they're on their way to the guy that's like chained to the bed. It's that's like the first time you really see the sun in the movie, and even during that moment, it's like that's like a tragic. He's like retelling the story of someone like the first time he had like was in like a fight as a like a first like fire or a gunfight.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even like when you see like this moment of sunlight, it's not necessarily like a happy moment. So I just think the also you never really something I noticed you never really see like until towards the end you never really get like just a skyline shot for a really long time.
It leads up
Like
to that.
it's very like claustrophobic,
Mm-hmm.
the movie. Like the chase scene between Mills and the the killer is like in the
John Doe.
John Doe is in like the apartment building. And it's like this hella claustrophobic,
Yeah.
hella claustrophobic. We can say that. Um, we're figuring it out. This claustrophobic scene, and I literally was like, this is the worst place for this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And like they go into like the like the air duct area outside.
Yeah.
He's like jumping over like grates and stuff.
But even the angles were like very still inside of the apartment complex. You could see him through a window jumping down, or
Mm-hmm.
and the when they're peeking around the corner or something, they'll just follow them
Yeah.
like right in front of their face, in front of the corner when they're peeking to shoot
Like
each other or something.
it's like it's a close quarters movie,
Yeah.
and
Until the end.
I like when it gets very frantic,
Mhm.
both in like cinematography and editing. Like he's like David Fincher is not afraid to do some shaky cam in this movie,
Mhm.
and some of the editing, purposefully is like very quick, and sometimes I don't know if disorienting it went that far, but like you'll be in one spot and then like you'll be chasing John Doe or getting like a close up of a victim or something. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is like serious.
Sometimes too much of a close up.
I was the jump scare with the guy on the bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like you had like there were a couple moments throughout the movie, and that's why it's fun almost watching this with someone that hadn't seen it before, because you had like visceral reactions to some things. Like there was a moment you were like rocking a little bit. I forget when. I was like,
Me?
yeah, you. There were a couple like you were like moving.
Because I
During
wanted to say
scenes.
something. I wanted to. I like
Like-
showing Kaden that I know movies. So sometimes I want to say like this is gonna happen,
Yeah.
and I try to hold it in. So I kind of like, I'm
Mhm.
like waiting for it to happen to confirm my suspicion of me being right about what's
Yeah.
gonna happen next. Yeah.
But like spoilers, when like the box scene
Yeah.
came up and you were like, no, like very like I don't want this to happen
Yeah.
moment. I'm like, this is the
Because he knew that I knew.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you literally you were like, I don't want the wife to be dead.
Yeah.
I don't want it to happen.
I was holding that in for so
Yeah.
long, and when they're in the car, I finally said it out loud
Yeah.
because I was like, no, please,
Yeah.
no. And
Well,
then the
she's
box
like
showed
the
up, and I was like,
kindest
no, no. Yeah, that's probably too loud. Sorry.
It's okay. Well, she's like the kindest person in the movie, and you want the best for her and Mills,
Yeah.
but you're like, this is not that. It's not that kind of story, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it
Definitely
doesn't
not a Disney movie.
not a Disney
If you look for a
movie.
Disney movie, that's not
It's
it.
not a feel good movie,
Nope. Feel really bad.
but it's a good movie.
Yeah. Kane was like, "What do you think about the movie?" And I was like, "That sucked."
Yeah.
The movie didn't suck. Well, it did. Made you feel
Think.
terrible, like
Yeah.
made you feel terribly. But it was a good
But
movie in that way.
I think that's always like the effectiveness of the movie, if it made you feel this way.
Yeah. But yeah, it sucked.
Made you feel things.
Made me feel things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else of major note impressions from the movie that you felt?
I was saying that I think Brad Pitt's performance was my favorite in that
Yeah.
movie because his humor was more like my humor in the parts that there were humor, and it brought a lot of light to the movie, which I think made me more emotionally connected to the characters. Like that was the first time I ever seen Morgan Freeman laugh hysterically in a
Yeah.
movie, because he's always very very monotonal, very serious, very just kind of supporting like what
Supporting role.
supporting roles
Yeah.
do. And I was like, in that moment, I was like, the wife's gonna die.
The one moment of calm.
Yeah.
And then the house starts shaking from the subway.
Yep. Yeah.
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 Well, I'll point out, you probably don't have much to say on it, but I do. We watched the 4K transfer of the movie, so for the real cinephiles out there. This is apparently like a contentious thing.
I forgot to do this at the start.
Oh, yeah,
Keep talking.
yeah.
Keep talking.
So I've seen a lot of discussion revolving around the new. It's a new version of the movie. It's never been in 4K before. I want to hear this. That's nice. So David Fincher. This movie was shot on film. This movie was shot on film, and it's only ever existed really in Blu-ray and DVD releases, but apparently it's had like 12, I think, different releases over the years since it came out.
Well,
So it's had a lot of variation, and whenever that happens with the movies, so stuff like The Matrix, what levels, you tend to inspire people to have different point of views of how like the movie should look. So I've done my own research. This is apparently how David Fincher wants the movie to look. Like he said he's treating it as the new negative, which is basically like what the film turns out to be in the end after it's shot. So as someone who's a big fan of this movie, I think this was a very good 4K transfer. I don't think the discussions I saw online did it justice in its color grading, because he made some color grading changes. But I feel like the internet made it look more drastic compared to how it actually looked, at least projected.
yeah, that was the first time I saw it, so
yeah.
I can't.
Sorry.
I liked how it looked.
Yeah, I just feel like putting that out there
Yeah.
because this is it. I've never seen this version of the movie,
Oh.
and I was like, they announced it like 2 years ago, I think. I was like, oh, 4K, I need to get it. And I like pre-ordered it.
Oh, nice.
Took forever to get here. They lost it in transit too, so I had to wait even longer.
I feel like I
They
remember you
literally
telling me about
they
that.
brought a package. It was empty, and the mail carrier was like, "I'm not giving this to you."
Oh yeah, you did.
She
yeah,
was like,
you were telling me.
"Yeah, it's like I won't do that to you." Yeah. So what did you think? Since we're talking about visuals, what did you think of the movie visually?
I really liked it visually.
Like the visual.
I just liked the close perspectives. It usually started really close, and then you would see more perspective, which I
Yeah.
liked. I kept saying like that's a that's a Kaden shot because he likes
Aesthetics.
the aesthetics of
Yeah.
that movie in what he does, which you guys should go check that out on the Kaden Shavato YouTube channel. Go look at this man's
There's like
short
3
films.
short films, and I
He
don't
needs to
think they're
post his
that
other
good.
ones. You need to make a catalog for
I
yourself.
do.
Film major
I haven't
over
posted
here.
a lot of them. I only posted the ones I made for like my freshman year of college.
You gotta post them.
I do gotta post them.
Putting it on camera, so I hold you accountable.
There's like a contract out there.
Yeah.
Like Kaden and Alex post them.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Oh, something. One of your favorite movies. I think it's one of your favorite movies. The Batman. You like the Batman?
Yeah.
Did you feel any?
Dark Knight. Or The Batman.
The Batman. Robert Pattinson. The Batman.
Yeah.
Did you feel any
Yeah.
or overlap
Yeah.
between this and the Batman?
Yeah. When you say that, I think immediately to the first like 5 minutes of the movie.
Like the first 5 minutes. Well, one, it's like the detective driven storyline, which the Batman does very well. I had to find a way to talk about the Batman on the podcast eventually. So it's like very like over the shoulder and like close quarters and like the noir stuff that the Batman uses a lot. And Matt Reeves did point to this as like a inspiration in interviews or like publication stuff. So watching it again, I was like, oh.
I will say a specific shot that I like is the over the shoulder, but from the antagonist perspective. Because you're like, oh, do we get to see him now?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh.
It's such a good reveal.
And it's like, not yet. You'll see him in a half hour, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, he's like draped in shadow.
He's like incognito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he has like the is that a bowler hat? Is that what they're called? Like the fedora.
Yeah, fedora. Top hat.
Top hat. And he's like trench coat.
He's got the circle glasses on and
so he's in total like
noir
mode.
Yeah.
He's very elusive in the movie. But there's a lot of like there's just vibes between this and the Batman for me. Like it's always raining. That's like my favorite thing about this movie. It's always raining. There's like non like ever-ending rain.
Yeah. Well, I like how when they get closer to figuring it out, or I guess not figuring it out, but they get closer to the end of the killer's plan, it just gets brighter, and then you finally see an entire landscape view.
Yeah.
But then it starts to get heated, and the camera from the helicopter's like so whoa.
I think it's an interesting choice that most like 80-90% of the movie is in the city. Did they ever say what city it is, by the way? I don't remember.
In my head, I was like New York, and then I was like, no, that's not right. It's Chicago. And then I was like, actually, I have no idea. Quick Google
Los
search.
Angeles, California.
Really? Did they say that?
No.
Yeah, I don't think
Or it's a fictitious city.
Okay.
Interesting. But I think it's an interesting choice that like you spend so much time in the city and the grand finale is in this like mesa mountain biome with like telephone towers or electrical towers.
Mm-hmm.
So you just like can take them completely out of their environment.
Yeah.
And I think it's a cool choice. I shook the whole table.
It's a cool choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Film student over here.
That is a film student.
Next segment. We're approaching the end here. What would you give it what would you rate it 1 through 5 on your letterbox scale? This is a letterbox segment. Ding, ding, ding. Letterbox segment.
It's hard to give it an exact, because like it's hard to compare it to other movies like it because there's not many movies like it. But first thing I thought was like a good 4.75.
4.75.
Yeah.
So you give it 4.5 or you lean 5?
I'd say if I had to lean, I would lean 5.
Nice.
Because
we got him.
It's my favorite.
We got him.
It's my favorite Brad Pitt. Well, I wouldn't say favorite. Humor-wise, it's my favorite.
Yeah. He's
And I
very
think he
funny in
gets
the movie.
I think he gets to use a lot more of his personality in that movie. Maybe not his personality, but more personality in general.
Yeah.
More emotion.
Well, it's a very expressive movie for performance
Yeah.
from him. Like
Yeah.
Mills gets one, it's very physical, so he gets to do a lot,
Yeah.
like running through hallways and all that crazy stuff. But even just like there's a lot of layers, like an
Yeah.
onion. There's a lot of layers to what he's going through in the movie. I think it's a good thing for him.
Yeah. That's like what I was saying when we were watching. I was like, he doesn't have to be the cool guy in this movie because he's more of the rookie.
Yeah.
So he can be a little, I guess, a little more dumb, a little more make mistakes and be emotional.
Yeah.
Even s- uh Somerset says like it's nice to see a man taken over by his emotions.
Yeah.
'Cause he's very cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah.
And
Well, he kind of like jests that at him.
Yeah.
He's like, wait,
and
yeah,
that's
it's like what you
crazy though
said.
too because that was right after the killer took a picture of him. He
Yeah.
was like, get out of here, you know.
Well, Somerset's all about, he's very like organized
Yeah.
in the movie.
For
Like,
a minute I
he
thought he
has
had
like the little,
OCD.
yeah.
Because he has his strip of things he puts on one at
Yeah.
a time. He always has to throw his knife at the dartboard before he goes to
Yeah.
bed, or
He has like
Yeah.
a certain like pattern of behavior.
yeah.
Almost.
And then when he realized he wasn't leaving, grabs his what's that called? The I know what it's called.
What?
The
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Is it something drome? I don't know.
mel
Malodrome?
melodrome?
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 I don't know. I know what you're talking about.
Metronome.
Metronome.
Metronome. We got it. That was gonna bother me if I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Um,
I've never owned one of those.
yeah, because that was like that's a part of his routine.
Yeah.
That's when he goes to
He
sleep.
chucks it at the.
But he can fall asleep, so he chucks it, and then he goes back
Yeah.
to the dartboard, and he has to start the process over.
Yeah.
Thought that was interesting. Yeah.
Good performances all around.
Yeah.
Love them.
Great movie.
I give it a 5 out of 5. Top
know.
tier movie. We
know.
We know.
Well, yeah, I mean, you said
just listen to you talk about
you said
it.
top 10.
Yeah, I know.
So it's got to be a 5.
Yeah. Very good movie.
Yeah.
Very good movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any that's all I got
Yeah.
for this episode.
Great movie.
What do you got?
Haven't felt that way in a while, you know?
Yeah.
The movies we watch, usually we leave them and like, that was so cool. Or like, you know, we watch John Wick, we're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, kicking butts and taking names, you know? Are we swearing? I don't know if we're doing that.
Refrain.
We don't know. Okay.
We're
refraining.
working it out.
Okay. But yeah. So this one made me feel like sad and you know, angry and yeah.
It made you feel things.
Yeah. It had me yelling at the movie while they were driving to the desert,
Yeah.
which that's, you know, that doesn't usually happen. Usually I'm yelling like, yeah, get him, you know, because we're usually watching an action thing.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, Ryan Gosling jumps off a boat or something. We're like, nice,
Yeah.
you know, but good movie, good
Good
experience. Have we ever watched a thriller together? I don't think we have.
I don't think we have.
That was-
We've usually leaned
Action.
sad movies or action movies,
Yeah,
like Interstellar.
that's exactly where my mind went.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sad movie.
sad movie.
Somewhere on that shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, take us to the outro.
We appreciate your attention and your likes and comments and views and
Keep them coming.
yeah, we hope that we can keep doing this, you know.
Yeah. It's fun. I like
Yeah.
doing this.
We have mics now, so we're
Yeah.
kind of committed.
This was kind of impromptu as well.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
I texted him like, "Hey, what you doing?" He was like, I don't know." And then I was like, all right, I'll be over in 5 minutes. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
7. Bye. Hopefully next time will be a different set.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Put it there. What are you doing?